Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on over to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio. I hope you all had a wonderful evening. It is going to be a good day. And I want to start off today by giving you guys some of the best news ever. Well, I don't want to give the best news without having the right people in here first. So I think I need to wait for you guys all to come in. I do have some really good news to share with you. And I'm really excited to do it. I'm also into your guys' DMs. I am over there reading them. Just so you guys are aware, I want you to know that I am paying attention. I did get them. Now, I just want to let you guys know, I don't know if anybody has seen this yet. I don't know. If you haven't seen this yet, prepare yourself for this video. Just do it.
Please forgive this mistake. You must not leave us. I beg you. Your monies, your weapons, they keep us breathing, keep my nose happy. True, I use coke a little bit. War is crazy. I sniff too much. I spend wrong, not on Temu junk, but on stupid things. Now I fix. I swear, I buy only American, maybe Chevy for her, sniff tea, not Coke, Trump. You are strong king, send tanks, send dollars, send help for my nose. Hello, America peoples, I come to White House in bad Temu clothes, very cheap, maybe stink like old soup. Trump, he shout, you look like trash man. I feel bad, very sorry. I promise now, I wear fancy suit, so shiny with jewels, like big star, yes? Please forgive this.
You look like trash man. Like, I'm sorry. It's AI. Obviously, it's a fake. Like, it's not even. And obviously, like, you guys know me. I support Ukraine. It's still funny. And it's okay to laugh at things like that. It's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to laugh at other people. And just because people play things like that, and you don't have to get hurt and run away. All right. Like, we're all adults here. This is the 21st century. I mean, just everybody relax. Okay. Everybody calm down. This video, before we get into news again, because I'm just waiting on more and more you guys to get in here. This video, though, this is real. This happened. I can't do the volume thing. Like, number one, the music, I'm probably already demonetized now thanks to that stupid music. Like, I don't know why they have to do that. But yeah, this lady here, let's take a look at her. She is transforming herself. If you didn't know this, she is transforming herself into Zelenskyy. That's what's taking place. She is quite literally doing it. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Like, you just look silly. She actually does a really, really good job at it, though. And I mean, like, a really, really good job at it. A shockingly good job. At first, it was like one of those weird things, but I mean, come on. Like, that's pretty good. Like, you got to admit, like, I am not a huge, like, anything. Like, I think all of this stuff is lame. I think doing stuff like that is lame. Like, lame in my opinion. It motivates people. That's fine. Like, good on them. But you got to give it to the makeup job. You got to give it to the makeup job. Good morning, Truth Fam. I hope you guys I hope we are ready for a good episode, because there is a B-52 that's circling off of the coast of Gaza. Appears to be in like a holding pattern. And people are freaking out going, well, can you put a Moab inside of that? And the answer is no, you cannot. You can put one in the back of a C-130 though, for some reason, but not on a B-52. Anyways, is she single? Is Zelenskyy single? Is that what you're talking about? Or the person making this? Like, I don't know. I mean, get after it, man. Have fun. Like, figure it out. I have no idea who it is. If you really want to know who that is, their TikTok tags on there, odds.bodkins, B-O-D-K-I-N-S. So odds.bodkins. Go ahead, man. Shoot her a message. Figure it out, dude. If that's what you're into, just, get after it. But yeah, Coast of Gaza, this is what we've got going on. Now, Doge, before we get into that, we started talking about what the B-52's at. Doge has been inside the Pentagon, and they've been like kind of like digging into some things over there. And I mean digging into the Pentagon. And they found some pretty weird stuff. Now, I knew, like, whenever we think of like wasteful spending and stuff like that, you generally think that wasteful spending's within the department that it's assigned, right? So I don't know, man. So hell, like, we're talking about the Pentagon. So $30,000 for, I don't know, a stupid screw that's going to go into a helicopter, right? Like, that's what I picture as DOD wasteful spending. No.
So we promised you transparency at this Department of Defense, and America, that is exactly what you're going to get because you deserve it. So at the DoD, we've been working hand in hand with the Doge team. And as the secretary said, we welcome that process because that process will make us more lethal. And that means that our warfighters on the battlefield will be more successful. And that's what this process is all about. So in the interest of transparency, look at some of the initial things that we found. In the Air Force, $1.9 million for holistic DEI transformation and training, $6 million to the University of Montana to strengthen American democracy by bridging divides. At the Defense Human Resources Activity, $3.5 million for support to DEI groups. And how about this one? $1.6 million to the University of Florida to study social and institutional detriments of vulnerability and resilience to climate hazards in African Sahel. You see, folks, this stuff is not a core function of our military. This is not what we do. This is a distraction from our core mission. So we believe that these initial findings will probably save $80 million in wasteful spending. Again, $80 million in wasteful spending just right here. So stay tuned. Today's actions are just the start. More to come this week. Again, we are working hand in glove with Doge. So stay tuned in the weeks ahead as we trim the fat, preserve.
That's it. That's really it. The rest of it's like promo stuff. I just wanted you guys to hear the weird stuff that they're actually finding. Like that is real, apparently. Well, at least that's what the government says. And I think we can all agree that that stuff is in fact there. And I don't even know what to say about it. And while we're talking about stuff being exposed and how money is just wasted, there is people that have been ripping off the United States government left and right. I'm not saying that these people were ripping off the government. I'm just saying
Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, has targeted a nonprofit based here in San Antonio, saying its contract for $215 million a year is canceled. News 4 San Antonio I-Team Waste Watch reporter Jay Avila has this story live from the Content Center.
Mandy, in a post on X, Doge said the Department of Health and Human Services had terminated a contract paying Family Endeavors $18 million a month to operate an empty facility in West Texas.
The organization is also known as...
Hey, you're checking in from San Antonio, Rusted Eric? This story is in your town, bro. You can go out there. And the other reason I just remembered, the other reason I included this in today's stack is because there was people yesterday that were like, don't go on Twitter, don't go on Twitter. But as you're going to see in this video, like as they just started, Twitter is where things are starting now. It really is. It's kind of like people are so weird. Like everybody was all about Elon Musk until he got on Trump's team. But all of this information, these politicians are flat out communicating on Twitter like, yo, look into this. And they're like, got you.
Endeavors, and you may have seen its administrative headquarters and wellness center on De Zavala Road, where it has a cluster of buildings and storefronts. Doge focused on an overflow housing facility for migrant families Endeavors operates in Pecos, Texas, which Doge says has been sitting empty, while Endeavors has been receiving the $18 million per month. Homeland Security reposted Doge's X post, tagging U.S. Attorney Ed Martin with the words, "Please investigate," to which Martin responded, "Duly noted, we are on it." I went to Endeavor's San Antonio headquarters today to get a comment from the organization. They responded late this afternoon by email. Endeavors was responsible for maintaining operational readiness at the Pecos shelter, ensuring the ability to scale from cold status, operationally ready but not actively serving children, to full use of 3,000 beds as needed.
I got to read this comment. I got to pause it and I got to read this comment. Gen X Josh says, I did a lot of FID. For those that don't know what FID is, it's Foreign Internal Defense. Look it up. We're not going to have a FID class. While in the Philippines, the embassy was a cesspool to work with for USAID projects. So corrupt, it even trickled out of op funds somehow. What? Holy crap. And like, why is it that there's always like, I swear, man, every time like you're dicking around, I remember like messing around with the Taliban. I remember messing around with ISIS. There was UNICEF and or USAID. It was always UNICEF stuff or USAID. Always, always, always. It's freaking.
Decisions regarding facility use and migrant sheltering locations were made by the federal government, not Endeavor's. Any claims of corruption or mismanagement are baseless. Doge also claims Endeavor's received its HHS contract in 2021 after a former ICE employee and Biden transition team member joined the nonprofit.
Weird.
Endeavor's government disclosure forms show its revenues shot up in 2021 from $50 million to $658 million, reaching a peak of $1.1 billion in 2022. For the News 4 I-Team Waste Watch, I'm Jay Avila.
So I was, and I still am, continuing to investigate a certain individual. Like, I can't wait to have fun with this person. The amount of like government grants and projects like that shot up throughout the spicy flu era is out of control. Go look at a lot of like, find your favorite shady business, whatever your favorite shady business is, and look up their freaking, I forget what it is, the PIN number the government gives them, and go search that for government contracts, and then go search their tax documents. So what you're going to see is a lot of these businesses that just boomed. And I mean boomed. Yeah, I know YouTube alerts are broke because it was a slow roll getting in here. But a lot of these businesses that just boomed over the spicy flu era, a lot of them had a buttload of government funding coming in while they weren't doing anything. And it's kind of frustrating. What is this? What am I missing down here? No, you guys are good. You're good people. You're good people. Oh, I forgot to tell you, now that we have like a good chunk of people in here and we're not going to play the Zelenskyy thing anymore, I want to let you guys know when it comes down to this. I talked about it yesterday. We did. Number one, his family has arrived in the USA. Good things. And last night, well, yesterday morning, we did like the massive fundraiser on this thing and it got out of control. We had, it truthfully started off with Call Sign Texas doing a bidding, like just like promising to match donations for a 10-minute time frame. And then he went above and beyond that and matched a $1,000 donation that came in outside of the time frame, which was cool. And so when he said he was going to do that, I got a text from somebody that said, I'm going to match everything that he matches. And so I did the math. It came out, and Texas was like, let me guess, it's like $3,000. And I'm like, let me add it up. And it was like 2,992 or something like that ended up coming in. Pretty much $3,000. And I was like, dude, what the hell? And he's like, oh, I'm Jewish. Like, got it. Then I put that up on the screen and Texas matches that. He matches that $3,000. And then on top of that, the other $3,000 pours in from the other guy that's being anonymous. That's insane. But on top of that, there was like 1,400 left over. And I was like, I'm going to chew that. Like, I want to contribute to this. I'm going to chew that. And sent it to, I've just thrown it out there. Texted Sky God last night and said, hey, bro, check it out. We freaking did it. Don't know if you saw it. We freaking did it. I was like, I'm going to eat this last one. And hold on one sec, because this is important. This is the guy. Hold on. I texted that guy, right? Like, I texted Sky God, and I was like, bro, check it out. We freaking did it. I don't know if you saw it, but we did it. And there's only like 1.3, 1.4 left to go. I got that, like, this is awesome. I'm going to like do it out. I woke up this morning, Sky God, I'm going to give you some recognition here. Sky God picked up the last G. And so it is like fully funded, ladies and gentlemen. It's good. And any other pennies that end up going to this or any other dollars that end up going to this now go directly to the family. And what I said I'm going to do is I am going to honor what I said I was going to do, which is pick up that other side because I want them to have a little bit of rest and relaxation. So they're at least going to have some cash going into their pocket now here in the United States. So not only did we take care of everything else, now they've got cash in their pocket thanks to every single generous person on this channel. And I freaking love that. You guys are absolutely amazing. And then to like add insult to injury, Sky God just comes in gifting out 50 Speak the Truth memberships, and Clab Jansen comes in gifting out an additional 10 Speak the Truth memberships. Best Discord community on the planet, best people on the planet. Love it. Support you guys all the way through. The Italian Prime Minister apparently has rejected France's what do you call it? A proposal to have Italian forces go in with like the other troops from the Brits and everybody else. Like they shot it down. So it's having doubts that they're going to end up doing it, and that sucker is gone. So this obviously is following yesterday when Zelenskyy had came out and said that they have enough money to last towards the end of the year, but they're going to be moving towards, like he made his own video. And they're going to be moving towards, well, you know what? I realized some of you guys probably didn't have the opportunity to watch last night, so I should probably grab that and put it on the screen for you. So give me just a sec. Let me see if I didn't delete it, which of course I did. So let me grab that real quick because I know exactly where it's at. And we should probably go over it. But Zelenskyy did come out with a video in response to, you know, last Friday's meeting. And how do I want to say this? I want Zelenskyy to say it. I think he has. I thought he had an English one, but I guess not. Here, just
Шановні українці, кілька речей за цей день провів ставку, провели аналіз пакетів підтримки та деяких контрактів, які є за цей час. Хороші результати по контрактам на артилерію. Україні потрібна міцна основа, далі дрони, незмінний пріоритет, захист неба, додаткові системи.
I'm sorry. It was Texas that donated the 50. I had Sky God on my brain. Texas actual donated the 50. I'm not drunk, man. I'm high on life right now. It's really good. Like very, very good things, right? Like good things are happening. It's okay to be happy, you know? Like I love you guys.
Ми зараз зайшли в Україну від Литви. Дуже дякую тобі, пане президенте. Доповідав сьогодні прем'єр-міністр України по фінансах на цей рік. Ми забезпечуємо всі наші потреби. Ми пройдемо по фінансах 25-й. Сьогодні ж на ставці були деякі спеціальні питання нашої державної стійкості. Всі можливі сценарії ми...
I'm not drunk from last night either. But this is, now I understand why when like Rob was on the show, you guys always accused him of doing like coke and everything else. So that makes me laugh.
Пропрацьовуємо так, щоб захистити Україну. Базовий сценарій – зберігати позиції та забезпечити умови для правильної дипломатії, для якнайшвидшого завершення цієї війни. Достойним миром. Мир нам потрібен, саме мир справжній, чесний, а не війна, нескінченна. І гарантії безпеки потрібні.
And there it is. So the same thing that I've been saying for the longest time that I think everybody is well aware of, anybody with half a brain knows that Zelenskyy wants security guarantees. So while, you know, France is going to continue what France does, the Italians are going to do whatever the hell the Italians want to do. Zelenskyy is cool with peace. He just wants security guarantees. That's what he wants. He needs security guarantees. So the question, ADHD does that. You were right. So the question is, who in the world is going to provide those security guarantees? Because we've heard, we've heard about different troops from different countries being spun up to go in and help out with certain things. I don't know if they're going to get it. I honestly, I'm not sure if they're going to get it. But because that's a pretty heavy video, I want you guys to take a break and I want you to watch how stupid people in our country are. This is a morning video. I'm just kind of chilling. Oh, please tell me he's not back. Is he back? Oh my God. Just, like, done. Just kick him out, man. Why is he back here? Oh, I know, because I started talking about Ukraine again, and he's got to come in and like troll. What an idiot. Like, oh, the Russian trolls. Oh, they're back. No. That means you're doing good work.
Go, yalla. There's no way this guy's doing it. Allah.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck? Code. Oh, no, code. What is this?
How many parents were watching this that went, let that be my kid? Let that be my kid. I will crush their soul. Who does that crap in this country, man? God bless, dude. What is wrong with people? I don't know why they would do that. Check this out, though. Remember how we were talking about things are going to start changing, like in and around the world? I hope you guys remember. Things are going to start changing in and around the world. Here is the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
Hear me clearly, right here and now. The anti-Semites at the United Nations better buckle up because I'm coming. The university presidents were just a warm-up, and believe me, anyone who knows me knows that I'm just getting started. Under President Trump, as United States ambassador to the United Nations, the days of propping up organizations that run counter to our interest are long gone. We will no longer fund terrorism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Israel hate. That stops immediately.
Oh, no.
And impose sanctions on the illegitimate International Criminal Court, which is targeting Israel with anti-Semitic attacks.
We're going to sanction the ICC. Did you hear that? She wants to impose sanctions on the ICC that's been going after Israel. That's freaking amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. Can somebody just block him?
And at the United Nations, we took the decisive action to defund UNRWA, the pro-Hamas terrorist front group who committed atrocities on October 7th. And I can promise you this, that as the United States ambassador to the United Nations, we are not only going to defund UNRWA, we must totally dismantle it.
Oh, so not only are we going to make sure the ICC is being fair, thank God, finally, stop spitting Palestinian propaganda, stop spitting proven, known lies. We don't have to echo lies from the Palestinians. So great. That's going to be done. Awesome. We'll sanction the hell out of them. It'll be fun. I don't know what the ICC asset has. I don't know. But hey, let's sanction the ICC. But UNRWA, done. Gone. We are going to work. The United States is going to work to get rid of UNRWA. Hey, Israelis. I know a lot of you probably didn't believe me. Oh, Toby Roberts becoming a true supporter. Appreciate you, brother. I know a lot of you guys probably didn't believe me when I said that the U.S., under the Trump administration, would have actual ironclad support for Israel. Listen to me. You will have ironclad support now from the United States of America. How'd that sound? You guys got it. It's finally here. It finally came. And it's going to happen. And it's going to continue to happen. And let's talk about how ironclad some of this support actually is. Because I think it's very important for you to see how ironclad support actually looks like. You know what ironclad support looks like? That right there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a B-52 bomber. And as we look at the map, for those of you that are unfamiliar with this area right here, this area that this sucker is flying is the Mediterranean Sea, where it's circling around. Now, that is typically what we would call a holding pattern. And as you can see, it's a distance away from likely what would be its intended target. Now, the B-52 does carry a wide array of weapon systems. Obviously, they can carry 500 pounders, 2,000 pounders, all of those good things. But one of the really cool things that this sucker can carry is a 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb that was rumored that Israel had bought or was going to buy, or they were seeking approval, something like that. Now, there has been a lot of war going on inside Israel lately. And I don't mean Israel proper, terror attacks, things like that. The normal Israeli attacks. There's been a lot of that going on over there. Israel has also done operations inside of the West Bank. Not that there's Hamas in the West Bank, right? Because that would be weird. Wouldn't it be weird if a key Hamas leader got killed in the West Bank just recently? I think so. But Not just because Hamas is in the West Bank, like a couple. And guess what? If you're supporting those people still here in the United States of America and you want to go riot on college campuses, guess what? All federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Now, it's funny that this ends up coming and going out. I want you to look at the date that he tweeted that. That he truthed it, because that's Trump truths things, right? Look at the date that he did it. That's today. He put that out today, March 4th. He did that today. And what did I show you right before that? A U.S. B-52 off the coast. Read between the lines. Read between the lines. They have been warned. Let them do it. You got a B-52 off the coast and the president, of the United States of America saying, if you protest, funding is going to get cut off from your school if they don't do something about it, like allow these illegal actions. We're going to cut funding off. And in addition to that, your butt is going to jail, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, as he says that, boom, right off the coastline. I feel like that's going to be nice ironclad support for Israel. I think like Israel is actually going to feel it this time. But unfortunately for Harvard University, they better get on their A game. Like the funny part about this video is supposed to be that people are blasting the national anthem over top of the pro-Pally rally there. They're blasting the national anthem to like cover them up and shut them up and all that stuff, which is funny, but it's also Harvard University. And remember what he just put out, and this is now there. Now, I think as long as they're being peaceful, maybe he won't. I don't know. It's going to be really curious to see how all of this is implemented. No, that's Harvard University. We will not drop a JDAM on Harvard. No, that's bad. Let's not do that. I mean, if you're going to do anything on that crowd, at least use A10, right? Like minimum collateral damage, pretty accurate, and they're a hell of a lot of fun to watch. But I really want to see how that's going to get implemented because, again, that's out from Harvard. That came out yesterday or yesterday evening that they were doing that. So I really want to see how that's going to end up happening. Now, tonight, Texas Actual says this is directly against freedom of speech. Also, can we talk about Jad Trans calling UK military some random soldiers that haven't fought a war? Oh, JD Vance. You're talking about JD Vance. Yeah, what an idiot, Texas. What an idiot. And the WHO Europe is pissed and they helped us in Iraq. And yeah, the whole of Europe. You're damn right. For those of you guys that don't know, JD Vance was talking. I wonder if I can find that clip. I saw it, I think, yesterday. Yeah, Texas, we do need to talk about that because that's absolute, like, this is my problem, right? Education, and people were writing on me last night when I was like, look, I get that JD Vance was doing JD Vance things, you know, like he was in the Marines, he was a cameraman, but he doesn't get to tell Zelenskyy how successful he's going to be in warfare. Like when he got elected to vice president of the United States of America, it didn't exactly give him a wealth of knowledge in warfare. Like he wasn't endowed with that. And so I wrote him pretty hard on last night's stream. And then that idiot, like, dude, like, bro, like sometimes you just got to keep your mouth shut. You know, like sometimes you just got to stop. Like, seriously, I think this is it. Yep, this is the clip. This is the one. I got you, Texas. Don't worry. I got you. This is why we are Speak the Truth, because I will support them 1 second and I will ride on them for being morons the next.
When you would talk to the Biden administration officials in private, it's another example of a terrible situation the Biden admin left the Trump administration. When you ask them what's the plan, okay, we're going to spend tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars in Ukraine. What is your plan? And they would honestly tell you, well, we're just going to send them weapons for as long as we can and hope eventually they can turn the tide. Hope is not a strategy. strategy. Throwing money and ammunition at a terrible conflict, that is not a strategy. The only guy in town with a strategy is the President of the United States, and everybody needs to follow his lead.
What scares me is Zelenskyy, when he says it's going to go on for years, how many more lives are going to be lost? He's not going to have a country to save at the end of that. The minerals deal would have provided the monies to rebuild their country and a strong U.S. presence and maybe European troops as well.
And this is an important part of it. The president knows that, look, if you want real security guarantees, if you want to actually ensure that Vladimir Putin does not invade Ukraine again, the very best security guarantee is to give Americans economic upside in the future of Ukraine. That is a way better security guarantee than 20,000 troops from some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years. The security guarantee.
What an idiot. What an idiot. What an idiot. Now that's more embarrassing than when Trump is sitting in front of Zelenskyy and stated that the war started in 2015 and Zelenskyy was like, bro, 14. And he's like, okay, 14. It's frustrating. The UK absolutely supported the United States of America a lot in Afghanistan. Dude, they sent their royalty down there at one point. I wasn't even a fan of it because I knew the Taliban would attack, and they did. I think that's when they attacked Camp Bastion. What's his name? Was it Harry? Was it Harry that was the Apache pilot? Yeah, thanks, Miles. Right? And they were on Bastion when all that happened. And they were in Helmand freaking province. Dude, they did some wild stuff down there. I did a joint operation with the freaking British Paras once. And then went back to freaking Fob Mez and ran into them. And those bastards were drinking like fish. So I joined them. Dude, that's an embarrassment to say that. That is an absolute embarrassment to say that. Because if you're going to say that the Brits weren't fighting a war in the last 30 or 40 years, that means I didn't fight a war in the last 30 or 40 years. And none of the U.S. vets in the chat didn't fight a war in the last 30 or 40 years. Give me a flipping break. That's why I got upset when he's talking about, no, weapons and this and that. No, dum-dum, you would know if you weren't a fobbit. You would know if you actually studied combat and not cameras. I made fun of him on last night's podcast, and I said, look, if I needed to know how to adjust the camera lens right here, right? If I wanted to know how to make this camera lens autofocus so that when, I grab a frickin' Chosen Company patch and hold it up, it autofocuses on it. I would call JD Vance. That's what I would do. I would call JD Vance for that, right? What I wouldn't call JD Vance for, clearly, is U.S. war history. Holy freaking hell, man. Holy hell. I don't know. Let's let him get the last word.
And also the economic guarantee for Ukraine is to rebuild the country and ensure that America has a long-term interest. You're not going to do that if you come to the Oval Office, insult the president, and refuse to follow his plan for peace.
What an idiot. I am kind of with him where, yes, it would make for a decent guarantee for the Ukrainian people to have those mineral rights. But like I said on last night's stream, my issue is that money is a horrible motivator. It is like one of the lowest of the low when it comes down to identifying motivations in people for trustworthiness. Because the moment it's no longer economically feasible and it doesn't make sense, then you lose support. What happens once it gets too hot? What happens once it gets too high? What happens once we end up spending more money to get to that location than the minerals are worth? It's ridiculous. I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I voted for Trump and I voted for Vance because I believe the greatest threat right now to the United States of America is the Middle East, is this place. And I knew they understand the Middle East. That's my major concern. Taiwan, sure, economically. Russia, economically, I think is a huge threat to the United States of America, which nobody is probably going to agree with me on that, and that's fine. That's for a different reason. I voted because this, what's up on your screen here, Israel, the Mediterranean, all of it, the entire Levant, is the largest threat to the United States of America, and they actually do understand that. Well, I don't know. I'm scared now. I thought of all people, J.D. Vance would kind of have a grasp that the Brits were fighting besides U.S. troops, but I guess not. But hey, man, at least there's a B-52 flying in a holding pattern over there. Now, let's talk about Israel, because I can't with stupid politicians anymore. I can't. I can't. And I know it's been a while since we've done this. So what I want to do is I want to open up a map and I want to take you guys over to a map and I want to run you guys through a couple things over there. Okay. So give me a sec. Let me get that opened up and where it belongs over to the proper theater orientation. All right. What country am I in today? Interesting. Okay. Let's zoom in. This is what you were just looking at a little bit ago. All right, so we've got Gaza all the way down here in the bottom. For those that don't know, we've got Gaza, and this is where Hamas is at. Then we have the West Bank where Hamas isn't in at all, right? And then we have Lebanon, which you have Hezbollah, which is not supposed to be south of the Litani River, which is basically right about here-ish if you were to cut it across the map. They're not supposed to be south of this location, but they are. And the UN's not doing anything about it other than letting them fly their freaking flags on their vehicles, okay? And then over here on this front, now we have Israel that's moving in with the Druze and actually raised a flag yesterday over in some of their territory. I actually saw a video that one of those flags may or may not have been taken down and set on fire. And you can't tell if it's the one that went up yesterday. I forget the name of the city that they ended up putting it up in. But Israel stating that they're going to be riding all the way up north to Damascus. Like they'll stay south of Damascus, working with the Druze, get them in there. Is it going to be Israeli expansion? Probably not. Is Israel going to plant flag and be like sovereign Israeli territory? Probably not. Would people complain about it? Sure. I don't even want to go there right now with like how Russia got away with it in Ukraine. But we're going to go talk about the West Bank for a second, specifically in Jenin. It should be up here in the north. It's been a while since I zoomed in on this map. Bam, there it is. Jenin. We're going to talk about this location right here. Jenin inside of the West Bank. Now, again, there's not supposed to be any Hamas in the West Bank. None. Okay? They're not there, ladies and gentlemen. She even says so.
But what about the Palestinians in the West Bank? What did they have to do with what happened in Gaza? This is why I say we need to look at the totality of conduct against the totality of the people. Because there was no Hamas military commander in the West Bank fighting the Israelis. Of course, there was also armed resistance, but because there is an unlawful protracted occupation, we generate resistance. But what about the
So Hamas isn't there. Hamas isn't there. And I see a bunch of you guys saying that, no, we need those. We need them for computer chips and we need all that stuff. Okay. I will do the research. You know, if you guys are telling me that I'm wrong, I'll check it out. I don't mind being wrong, which is weird. I don't know why people are offended if for some reason they didn't get a whole picture or they were wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll come out and I'll say I'm wrong. We'll look into it. Not a big deal. Matt, you're wrong about Ukraine. Okay, Deputy Dog. Like I said, I will look into it about the microchips and all of that other stuff. I also said on last night's podcast that I know a guy that's opening up a mine here in the United States that's like 10x bigger than that. Like 10x more minerals than what Ukraine has. And so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But apparently I just need to present my research to everybody so that you can draw your facts from it. So I'll tell you what, if you guys think I'm wrong, seriously, I want you to do this. If you guys disagree with me and you think I'm wrong, do me a favor. Just go to my Twitter account, go over there, and it's open to the public. Everybody can send me a DM, and I have it that way for a reason. And I just want you to title it as wrong. So put the first word is wrong and then give me like 2 spaces and then present some information that's going to change my mind on it. And I will go through and I will read it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Please. Like, I'm not going to debate in the chat, for crying out loud. That's serious. Like, it's not that serious. Like, it is actually. It's a war. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So go over there, do that, present me the information that you guys have, make my life a little bit easier, show me what you're talking about as to why I'm wrong, and we'll go from there. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll make a whole video about it. It's cool, man. It's not a big deal. I don't understand what, like, you're allowed to be wrong sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay if people tell you you're wrong, you know, like, I don't know, like this lady, for example, she's wrong. She says there's no Hamas in the West Bank. You know why there's Hamas in the West Bank? You know why? This right here. Martyrdom of the commander of Qassam Brigade in Jenin. Wouldn't you know it? All Qassam Brigade commander dead. And where was he killed? In the West Bank. Now, how could that be? How could that be? How could the Al Qassam Brigade commander be killed in the West Bank when they're not supposed to be over there? I don't know. You want to know something else? You guys know who this is? This is the commander of Hezbollah's Radwan force. Their elite special forces unit. He dead too. So now him and the Qassam Brigade commander can go up and play tummy sticks in hell. That's where they're going. What a bunch of idiots. They're gone. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me for the day. It is. That's going to do it for me for the day. Unless you guys want to do Discord time. You guys want to do Discord time? Anyone want to do Discord time? We can do Discord time if you want. You know what? I'll give a chance. I am going to do Discord time because there's a bunch of people saying I'm wrong. So if you're a true supporter and you want to get in there, go jump in the Discord. Come over and tell me why I'm wrong. I'm like, cool with it. Yeah, 100%. Here, Matt. Yep, got it. Deputy Dog. Awesome. Let's do this. Like, I'll present your information for you. All right, we're in. We are in, ladies and gentlemen. Woo. Let's see how it goes. 300 Brits have left their country to fall to Islam. Yeah, fair enough, Matt. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let me get some hands in here. Come over, say hi. Tell me what you guys got on your mind. We're just chilling in the Discord. So many lovely, beautiful people. Texas, what's up? Been there, done that, becoming a true supporter. Thank you, sir. Texas, how are you today, friend?
Hey, good morning. How are you? I'm doing great.
Is my assessment of JD Vance on that one wrong?
No, he's an absolute buffoon. Like, he knows better, and he knows that even when he started the argument with Zelenskyy in the White House about saying thank you, he knows that the 52-minute video started with Zelenskyy sitting down and saying, "Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for having me." He literally started with the words "thank you."
Oh, did
and
he?
still
I missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I missed that part.
I'll send you the links on that later if you want to dive
Okay,
into it.
yeah,
But he
please
literally
do, because
started,
please do, because I was a dick, and I was like, I made a jerk post about it. Please do. If I'm wrong, I got to fix it.
No. No, he did. He started the video by saying, "Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for having me." But again, one thing that people keep forgetting is Zelensky's not like, he just really learned English, like, to the level of having conversations with Americans in the last few years.
Right.
People keep forgetting that, and people can't seem to remember that it's not his first language, so you won't understand him right away. Like, not you, but like most people won't understand what he's saying, or expression through speech is difficult when you're not like
it's
speaking
hard.
the same language. It's
Yeah,
the same
you're
way
right.
me
It's hard.
trying to communicate with somebody in Poland. Like, I was talking to this guy in Poland, and I was trying to tell him a story, and he speaks English and he understands English.
Right.
Comment. You need to mute yourself because your mic is overlapping audio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I just muted him.
I was gonna say you can also just move him down.
Yeah, but I server muted. He'll have to. Now he's sending voice notes. He'll have to join back in a minute through in the chat. But what I'm saying is, like, people miss that, and people forget that. People have very short-term memory. And the same thing yesterday. JD Vance sitting there, he knows it's being recorded for the internet.
He does.
He knows he's on Sean Hannity. He's talking to a big platform. He knows that, and he's still sitting there saying, "Oh, some 20,000 troops from some random country that haven't fought a war in 30 years." Like,
It's
he
frustrating.
knows better. It's like, it's not like
no, he
you have to
doesn't.
do
No, he
research.
doesn't know better, dude. That's the problem. He believed what he
Of
said.
course he knows better. He was in Iraq. He might have been a filmmaker,
What the hell does
but
that
he
have
knows
to
that
do
the
with
British,
anything? Like, you know how many?
but he knows
bro,
that the British soldiers were there.
Bro, you know how many U.S. veterans I've asked, like, the difference between Al Qaeda and the Taliban, that can't name it? Like,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that he knows better. That he knows that the British soldiers were in Iraq when the U.S. The only time Article 5 has ever been invoked in NATO was the U.S. invoking it. And everybody
aware.
came to the U.S. assistance.
Europe's
of
aware.
course you're aware. You were there, of course. But J.D. Vance is sitting there and saying, "Oh, these random soldiers that haven't 20,000 random soldiers that haven't fought." Or he knows that these are soldiers that from a country that has fought a war alongside them. So
Yeah, it's
like
pretty
that made no
embarrassing.
sense. That was really dumb of him to say.
It's
I think
embarrassing,
that
man.
J.D. Vance, since he got into politics, he was never a politician. So he was a Marine. A Marine has a. I'm not here to shit or say anything bad about Marines. I've only known really cool and really solid dudes that are Marines. But J.D. Vance, he has the brain of a Marine. That the joke is always a Marine just answers raw to everything you say to them. So
Correct.
I think when he got into politics, he became this parrot that whatever the people that were funding his campaign, if it was for whatever he was running for office, and then obviously vice president and all of that thing, he would just say what he's told. He first was saying Trump is the equivalent to Hitler.
Yep.
Then he was saying that Putin needs to go. And then he was saying, frankly, I don't care what happens to Ukraine. And this was years ago. This was before he was even announced as vice president or anything like that. So I think J.D. Vance is a puppet that will speak and will act really tough because he's younger than everybody in
Correct.
the crowd. And he's like officially he's the younger generation connection to the Oval Office. Bullshit. The younger generation hates him.
He's supposed to be, but right now with like the things that he's saying, like just the things off the top of my head that I know he said that are like wrong, he's ruining his shot for presidency ever. Like he said a lot of things that are factually incorrect so far. Like factually.
Well, I've heard yesterday, or I saw yesterday a thing on X. I should have clicked on it to save it, but somebody was saying, you know why J.D. Vance doesn't care to ruin his image for running for president in 28? Because they're already planning to keep Trump in office in 28 again.
That's not going to happen.
There's a movement. There's a whole movement publicly now.
Okay, there's Nazi movements in the United States too. That doesn't mean anything. That's not going to happen. That's fear mongering, bro. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't allow that to happen. You know how many Americans would say absolutely not and pick up their firearms?
Yeah, I mean the shit that comes out from the government's office in the last 6 weeks. I'm sorry to say, I don't know what's going to happen. The president of the United States is directly repeating Russian propaganda. It's fact. Like we've seen it. He might be doing it for whatever reason. He might be doing it for negotiating tactics or whatever. We can all agree to disagree of why he's doing it, but he's doing it.
Well, and we talked about it too. Like there is a propaganda issue. And it is that deep.
100%.
In my opinion, it is that deep to where people do repeat stupid shit. Like the amount of times I've heard about, we will not expand 1 inch after you freaking move. Like, dude, kiss off. Gorbachev in, what was it, 2015? 2014, maybe? Like flat out said, that's bullshit. But on top of that, my biggest thing about it is that deal was made with the USSR, which no longer exists, in case everybody forgot.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I have issues. Like, even if you don't agree, that place no longer exists. It's not there. It failed. It collapsed.
So yes, that's all right and true. but we do see the image of what that was reflecting. And now you do see Russian soldiers, and I see Russian soldiers flying the USSR flag. And I know it's more of a support thing for the USSR than we are the USSR, but it's all in mindset. It's all in the mindset. There's just recently a Ukrainian woman went on one of these like random talk to random people, and there was a Russian guy on the other side, and I guess he didn't know that she was Ukrainian. She started asking questions of why the country's at war. For victory of what? For territorial victory. For what territorial victory? To denazify all the Nazis from Ukraine and send them back to Germany.
They think that. They do.
They're programmed. It's the same way the Palestinians think that every Jew you kill, you get 72 more virgins. Well, it's the same way. It's programmed.
I was actually going to do a whole video on like martyrdom during Ramadan and why we're seeing a lot more attacks because of the reward increase that they end up getting.
They get a higher reward because it's Ramadan?
Correct.
Well, maybe the Russians are not programmed to that extent. But what I'm saying is they're still programmed. It's what you know. And the same way that the United States people, the regular everyday people, are technically also being programmed by information that is being pushed to them. You can see Elon Musk is a very influential guy. He has no business making comments about another country's elections or leadership or government.
No, like,
and he
Elon,
does that.
Like,
He
acts like he's a political figure. And this is where I start to get like,
he's not even American. He wasn't born in America.
That I don't care about.
He's
if
an
you're
immigrant.
Not born in America,
He's
I don't
an immigrant.
care. If you're an immigrant and you're a legal U.S. citizen, like you're here legally, you are a legal U.S. citizen, not like a green card holder, but like dotted line U.S. citizen. I don't care if you're an immigrant.
Was that ever verified? I don't know. I think he's a green card holder. Maybe he's not going to be a gold card holder.
Oh, come on, man. Can we not with like conspiracies? Like, as far as I know, he's an American citizen. But what I do know is him doing Tesla, great. All of his tech stuff, great. It doesn't mean he knows a shitting thing about warfare. It doesn't mean he knows anything when it like business, okay. But when you want to talk war, dude, no.
Political,
Stop.
anything political, the guy has no business standing. The guy is sitting on a stage, can't make a full statement. He's literally mumbling between words. And it's not because there's something wrong with him. It's just because he's not designed for that. He's a smart guy that's really good at
he's
engineering.
On the spectrum. Like he's autistic.
100%. So that like, okay, so let's give him a pass of saying all the dumb things that he says. Like literally all the dumb things that he says.
Pass because
not
if
you,
you're going to give him a pass,
but I'm saying people come on.
No,
people on the internet come on and say give him a pass.
No, you don't get to give him a pass for that when he's in charge of all these crazy things. Like if you can't think clearly enough not to make dumb statements, then you sure as shit shouldn't be running the Department of Government Efficiency. So you don't get a pass for that. Like if you're competent enough to do that, to run Doge, then you're competent enough not to do something stupid. Right?
Yep. 100%. I agree with that. But it's,
so
it's just not how it is.
I told him that I would allow, I said what I said was that some people didn't agree with the mineral rights, and I asked them to come in the chat. We have two people that are waiting. We got C88 and BB. So I'd like to hear from either of those, or come and take it. I'm curious what people have for this, because we can go back and forth on this all day. Like 100%. I like, it's funny that I agree with you on stuff until you go like, I feel like you've just fall off the edge. I'm like, dude.
No, I'm literally chilling. I'm just like the fact is that there's these things that you can't like keep hiding. You can't be the president of the United States and complaining about Europe and the UK's having freedom of speech, and then the next day make a post that if you're gonna protest against Israel, we're gonna arrest you. I'm pro-Israel.
It's not the protest.
My family's in Israel.
No, that's not true. It's not protest. No, it's
look. Read the message. Read the message.
Texas, calm down. Stop.
I'm calm.
It's not the protesting against Israel. You know exactly what it is. It's the violent rioting that breaks the laws, burning the buildings, holding people hostage, freaking firebombing people, using bear spray, all of that shit while waving a Palestinian flag and supporting a sworn enemy of the United States of America. That's what he's talking about, not protesting.
No, but if you hold a flag, I don't care if it's an ISIS flag. I mean, I do care because I would probably punch you and not take the L and go to jail for it.
Oh my
because
God!
it's the right thing to
what
do.
did he say it like during an interview or something?
No, he made the post about it. He said
Okay.
that.
Do you know
anything
how many flipping posts that I make that I end up redacting
100%
and
agree with it.
taking and going back?
100% agree with it.
Got it.
100%.
And you know
100% agree with
exactly
that.
what he means. There is look, when it comes to legal actions, when it comes to legal things, you have written and you have like spirit and intent. The spirit of what he was saying, you know exactly what it is. It's true.
Yeah, and I agree with that. If they break the law, they should go to jail. They should get arrested. 100%.
And if they support the
But if
enemies
they
of the
don't-
United States of America, they also should.
That's opinion, but is that the law?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it should be. And I think that should get changed
and
legally.
we can agree on that. But until it's not the law, he can't just say that because he is the president.
No, but what we can do is we can
What he can
deport
do
them.
is,
We
I
can
wanna
revoke
introduce
their
a
visas.
bill-
We can kick them the F out for that, though.
100%. 100%.
That's what
But
he's talking about there with
citizens.
that. That was the
But he's-
spirit of what he was talking about there. He laid that out
100
really clear weeks ago.
Yeah, and I agree with that. If you're not a U.S. citizen and you're here on a visa and you're doing something stupid, even if it's not illegal, the U.S. has the right
Oh
to
my
revoke
God.
your visa.
You guys are so ridiculous. If I go stand on the street corner, hold a sign, and jump up and down and protest, do you really think they're going to kick me out of the country and throw me in jail?
Well, we're getting to a point where people are getting.
No, we're not at that point. That's ridiculous. I was just at a pro-Ukraine protest just the other day in downtown Dallas.
That was a rally.
Nobody's in jail. No, we're like people are standing there with signs and shit. Mark Walking's like it's a protest. You can call it a rally. It's a protest.
And again, you have the right. Every American has the right to do so. It's the right. It's our constitutional right, and I agree with that.
Until
it's an enemy of the state?
No, until you start affecting the rights of other people or breaking the law. Or, in my opinion,
100%.
supporting the enemies of the United States, which should be written on books. If it's financial, there's all sorts of different support, but just verbal support possibly could be actually.
So now I have a question. Does that line stop? So now if the president of the United States let's say that law gets put into action and let's say all of that goes to the right way and Congress passes a law that now if it's an enemy, you support an enemy of the state, then that means that you actually broke the law. Cool. I'm all good for that. But now you have the president of the United States that can decide who an enemy of the state is. And if you support that party, you broke the law.
That's not how that works. That's not how you decide who the enemy is. That's not how you decide who the enemy is. Hamas is a foreign terror organization, designated foreign terror organization.
100% agree with that.
Right? That's a fact.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
The U.S.
100%.
government hasn't declared war since when? Freaking Korea?
World War II. 44, 43, what was it?
I thought it was North Korea. Was it World War II?
No, it was World War II, yes.
Fuck. God, man, my brain this morning. I don't see us ever getting to that point. And if we do, that's why we're an armed society.
Yeah.
Ever,
but the society is
ever.
at such a confusing crossroad that
No,
we
it's
don't
not.
know what's going to...
No, it's not. It's a very clear line, dude. There was a time last year. Hold on.
I'm not religious, but the one thing I pray to is that it
Texas,
stays
listen
on
to
that
me.
line.
Please take a breath because you're spinning out like you're starting to get a touch of TDS. I swear it's bad.
No,
Yes, you
it's just
are.
fact.
No, it's not.
I'm chilling.
It's
I'm really
not, bro.
chilling.
Like you need to go do what we talked about yesterday for a hot minute, all right? And if you're not, if you did, do it again. Like you need it. All right? I've been there. Look, man, that's not it. Like again, there's spirit versus what's written, right? And when he says protesters, we know who he's talking about. Because the Democrats had called the people over inside of Portland during the BLM movements peaceful protesters. They called the pro-Pally nut jobs peaceful protesters. They called the people all across the United States, New York, all of these college campuses where you had Jewish students being assaulted, chased down, guns pointed at them, kidnapped, peaceful protesters. That's who he's referring to when he says protesters. And we all know it. It is the spirit of what he said. It is
I agree with that.
absolutely unreal to state otherwise. Like, it is absurd.
And I agree with that. But the fact is
Why
that
are you
when you're
arguing
in
it, bro?
because when you're in that position, and like I'm Jewish, like I'm Jewish, so I'm like
I know.
obviously I'm 100% for Israel and for like lock up every one of these people that were doing something illegal. But when you make a statement that has to do with freedom of speech, the fact is that if he would have said specifically outlined it, that's different. But when you just have to assume what he means, then that puts it into such a dangerous zone.
He's still learning to speak English.
Who, me?
No, you see what I did?
Or Trump?
It was a Zelenskyy joke.
No, but it's true that like when the president of the United States
only
can make a
true
statement,
because
and you
are
have to
spinning
assume,
yourself out. It is confirmation bias. It is confirmation bias. Yes, it is, dude. I can take.
I know, because I agree with everything that you say, but the part that we have to assume that the president, if he would have outlined it in his statement, that's different. But we have to assume that the president meant X, Y, and Z.
No, you don't.
And,
because he's made a million other statements to the contrary.
and that's a problem as the president of the United States to make that kind of statements.
No, it's
like,
not. It's called how people talk, dude.
Do we have a right of freedom of speech in the United States?
Yes, and no right is obsolete.
Does it matter? Does it matter if you're speaking about the worst enemy
No
of the...
constitutional right is obsolete. No constitutional right is obsolete. I'll say it again. No constitutional right is obsolete.
I agree with that. Now, it's a question.
You don't have to agree with it. It's a fact.
Okay, so now I have a question. Now that we have established the fact that you have the right, or it's not obsolete, or it is whatever the fact is.
No, it's not.
You
absolute.
have the right. You have the
like
right
the Second
of
Amendment.
freedom of speech.
It's like the Second Amendment, for example. It's not absolute. If you want to own a belt-fed machine gun, you got to abide by the NFA, and you got to pay extra money to the government. You got to get your background check. You got to right.
That's extortion.
Okay, whatever. It's how the Supreme Court ruled. You're the one pushing constitutional law, and I'm telling you what the constitutional law says.
And I agree with you, but I'm still saying if you have the right to freedom of speech, then you can't say, oh, if you're talking about the worst enemy of the United States, then that right is gone. Like, you can't do that. That's just like what I'm saying.
Okay, Mosen says Trump's post says illegal protest, literally in the text.
What's an illegal protest? Protesting is legal.
One that breaks the law, one that's not legal.
Yeah, but if he says
if you're
illegal violent protest,
it's illegal.
And how would you break the law by
you
protesting?
Cannot be serious. It said illegal the whole time. It said illegal the whole time, Texas.
100%. Anything violent is illegal, but protesting is not illegal. The word protesting is not illegal.
Illegal is illegal, dude. When you break the law, it's illegal. Just because you call it a protest doesn't make it legal. A protest is a legal, constitutionally protected activity. When you take the protest into the middle of a city street and you shut down traffic, it is now an illegal protest unless you have a permit to do so.
And where does that say in the law that a protest has to be permitted by the government?
Where it says you cannot, you have the law that says you cannot block a city highway or you cannot block a state highway. You cannot impede traffic. It is state law. It's codified.
Okay, so you show me. So you're right.
Hold on. You show me the affirmative. Hold on, Texas. You want to talk legal shit? You show me the affirmative defense. You show me the affirmative defense in all 50 states. Just give me one state where there's an affirmative defense to blocking a freaking traffic way that says as long as it's a First Amendment protected activity, you may do so.
Okay, so I agree with you on that. If they break the law, then they should go to jail. But if I'm protesting on the side of the street with my 5 friends and you don't like the fact that I'm protesting for somebody that's an enemy of the state, it would
nobody's going to do anything towards you. That's why the word illegal's in there. That word that you continue to choose to ignore. Now, here's something else that a lot of people don't know that they're going to throw out there. The same thing that we're talking about when it goes down to like the highways, they have the same one for like passageways, like walkways and stuff like that. And they were using it against some of these protesters on some of these public college campuses because they were blocking them. Did you know that? Last year. That's the law that they enforced.
That's what, yeah, and I agree with you. And Joe, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That's not really what I was. My point wasn't all of that. My point was the fact is that when you say this protest is illegal, what makes this protest illegal? Now you're starting to mess with something that's in the Constitution. Now, if you're doing something that's illegal,
the codified, written black and white law that's on the books would make it illegal. If the protesters start doing illegal things, then it's illegal.
100% agree with you.
And he said illegal protest. So if you agree with that and Trump said illegal protest, you're arguing with nobody.
No, I'm not arguing with anybody. What I'm trying to say is when he says illegal protests, what makes that protest? Not every protest that has been
Texas,
was an illegal protest.
Much.
This is what I'm trying to say.
You. Are we on state property?
Squatting is illegal.
Hold on. Is the protest on state property?
I don't know. Is the public street?
Let's say it's on state property. Okay, within a state's jurisdiction, not federal, but state jurisdiction.
That's public property.
If it's in the jurisdiction of the state on public property, just because I'm on public property doesn't mean I can pull out my gun and shoot somebody, does it?
No, but you can carry it.
I can carry it. That's not illegal. And you can protest in public. That's also not illegal. But you can't block a cityway or highway. That's illegal. Unless
100%.
You have a permit. That makes it illegal. So if you're not...
Okay, and I didn't disagree with that.
Okay. None of us are disagreeing. You're flipping out because Trump said illegal protest and you're trying to make it look bad, bro.
No, what I'm trying to say is it was so simple. It was just that what makes the protest that he's talking about in that post, if he would have said these protests that were happening, that were illegal protests, these people that are going to get arrested for it, he's not saying that. He was just saying all these...
You understand he can't do that because then he's targeting a specific group of people and that gives them a defense in a court. So he has to say illegal protests. Otherwise, they'll be like, but I was singled out. No, he singled out all protesters. It doesn't matter. If you're a protester and you're on the pro-Israel side and you're doing something illegal, the law will be enforced. If you're a protester on the pro-Palestinian side, it doesn't matter. If it's illegal, the law will be enforced. That's what he said. And he can't say the pro-Pallies will be enforced if they're breaking the law because that's singling them out. That's not how it works. That's like, dude, what you're calling for is communism.
Definitely not. I'm the last person that will call anything.
Well, thank you. Please stop.
All I'm saying is something. I love you too, but all I'm saying is something that when we're playing with the Constitution and you're
I'm not playing with it.
Not you.
He's not playing with it either. He said illegal.
Nah. He said illegal when it comes to this, but when it comes to other things, it's not illegal.
Yeah, let's predict the shit he's going to do in the future before it's done. Like, can we please stick to facts? He said illegal protests. We just hashed it out. He said illegal protest, bro. He pisses in my Cheerios too. He does. But we got to be rational about it. Otherwise, when he does make that mistake, then you don't get to call him out on it because nobody's going to want to hear it. Right? I love you, man. Come on.
I'm still sticking to what I said. I agree with everything that you said, but I'm sorry. The way that message was written is playing with the Constitution. It's very and making statements.
Send it to me so I can put it Texas. Can you send it to me so I can put it on the screen? Is it on Twitter?
No, it's the same. It's the same thing you read earlier. It's the same message from Trump. That same. No masks. No. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That message.
Hold on,
it's just.
Let me look. Let me go back and put it on the screen so everybody
agitators will be imprisoned.
Hold on, I'm finding
agitating
it right now.
is not against the law.
Hold on, let me calm down. Yes, it is.
Agitating is against the law?
Yes. Inciting violence.
Where?
Inciting
violence and agitating is two different things.
Look up the definition. You know what, Texas, you look up. No, you don't watch. Okay.
So I think
disturbing the peace is a thing, is it not?
Yes. But I think the problem is that
that's an city. That's usually a city or a local ordinance. It's not a. It's not
a person who urges others to protest or rebel. I guess I was a little off on the actual definition. I apologize. An apparatus for stirring liquid also could be an agitator. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, encouraging people to protest, I guess, makes you an agitator or rebel. The question is, what does that rebellion do? But yeah, as long as it's peaceful, you're good. So that's probably the wrong term. He probably used the
that's
wrong
what
word.
I'm trying to say. You started to use the wrong word.
Okay, so that word, I agree with you on that one. That word would need to get corrected. But it does say, so let's just read it through. Because context also matters. It does.
Okay.
All federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests.
And that's where it ends the statement. And the
Period.
sentence.
Hold
and then
on.
he starts.
I get it. Period. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So, let me ask you a question, Texas. Are all American students going to be permanently expelled, depending on the crime?
Yeah.
All American students are going to be permanently expelled, depending. Like, if I send my kid to college who is born in the United States of America, you believe by that statement that they're going to expel her? Like, you think?
If she has committed a specific crime, yes, that's what he's stating. Depending of the crime, all American students will be expelled.
I was thinking deported. I'm sorry. I was thinking deported.
No,
not expelled. That's my
expelled,
bad. Yeah, expelled from the school, sure. Expelled from
Yeah.
the school, sure. Get the F out.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, cool.
No, I don't. I
mask.
don't disagree with that.
There is laws currently on the books that have been constitutionally upheld that say no masks. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I have no problem with the statement that he made about this.
Your problem is the word agitator.
The way he wrote this statement and added in the agitated will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country that they are from. I believe.
Here's why.
And I strongly
here's
believe
why Texas. Texas, here's why.
Okay, go ahead.
Because
I'm
it's
listening.
context. I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's in context, big screen. It's agitators for illegal protests. If you encourage people to do illegal activity and they conduct that illegal activity, you are inciting violence or disturbing the peace, depending on where you're at. That is a fact. So
I mean, yeah, maybe, but that's if you would have wrote that.
Texas, it's not a maybe. It's not a maybe. And we know that because it is in context. All federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests, period. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. That is in reference to the agitators of the illegal protest. So if you're encouraging people to do illegal activities or illegal protests, at that point, to encourage people to break the law, I agree with that. You should get your ass sent back to the country you came from.
The main categories of the restrictions are driving, defamation, fraud, obstination, child pornography, fighting words or threats. The main categories of restrictions are incitement. Again, I just
what is it?
I just really think it's not. Look, I strongly believe with everything that you say when it comes to these things. If you break the law, you go to jail. It's just as simple as that. In my eyes,
agitating
I don't
people to
care.
break the law, kick them out of the country, dude.
If you word it that way, if you continue reading it like that, but the fact is this:
that's
if
exactly
you go
how it
on
reads.
X, if you go on X,
Texas,
and you look
don't
at the
say
actual
if you
thread,
go on X.
wait,
Don't tell me to go on X. Look at the statement. Use your brain. Be a critical
reading
thinker.
the thread of the actual statement. What other people see and what other people read. These are the people
being
in
retarded
America.
is not my problem, Texas.
Yeah, but this is the public. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that the president of the United States. The president of the United States can make a statement that will be easier for the retards to understand, so then it doesn't come to the point.
It's not his responsibility to write at a fucking third grade
level. He is the president of the United States. It is his responsibility.
You want him to write it in fucking crayon next? Jeez, man.
That's a ridiculous statement, because like what I'm saying is when the president of the United States stands at a podium and says, they want me to run again, and this is 3 weeks into his presidency, should I do it? Maybe. We'll see what happens. It's funny, it's a joke, and it might not be even serious, but that's words that 100% contradicts the Constitution. It's funny, but it's ridiculous.
Hold on, I gotta calm you down and read this comment. Somebody wrote, like, Matt is fighting with his #1 supporter. I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
We're not fighting. We're not fighting. We're just having a disagreement. And this is the good thing about
with fucking people, man.
They can't have a disagreement. I can have a disagreement with Matt for 2 hours straight and then hang up the phone and say hello, and then we'll talk about like bubbles.
Oh
yeah, like
God.
it's not. It's just like we can have a disagreement.
Oh
I'm not.
God,
I'm not mad at Matt.
This is. I'm just Texas, like. I'm really glad we did this, and I think we should stop there. I'm really glad we did this, and I think we should stop there because people need to understand it's okay for guys to do this stuff.
Saying no.
Say what?
They want me to keep going.
I want to keep going too, man. But like, again, like funny. I can read it top to bottom and say, bro, for me, it fits completely in context and there's nothing wrong with it. You read it and I understand where you come from. The term agitator, right? I look at it as agitator in the context, which he's talking about, which is the illegal protests, which somebody failed to mention at the beginning of this conversation. But we're not going to talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean about the illegal protests?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still disagreeing with the fact that he worded it like this. Like, as the president of the United States, as the most powerful person, you're supposed to be the most influential person in the world.
Nobody's drinking. People were sober. Stop it. Like, it's ridiculous. Well, I am. I'm drinking coffee.
Drinking? I'm drinking Red Bull.
Yeah, Texas doesn't even drink.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
I have to go on a full 3-month deployment before I'll drink.
Right. Dude, look, I'm actually happy that we did that. I'm actually happy that we had that today to where we argued and then stopped and laughed and smiled because people need to see that. That's also real. You know what I mean?
I mean, we don't have to agree on everything. It's just you're like, I think you even said that statement. You would be an idiot.
I will never agree with
if you agree with everything. If you agree with everything I say, you would have to be an absolute idiot. Like, it's just not normal. Like, for one human to agree with another human on everything every single time. You can convince yourself that it's real, but it's not. It's just not normal. So it's good to have a disagreement, and it's good to move on from them.
Crazy guy gifted 10 memberships. Mosen says we didn't vote for Trump because of his wordsmithing ability.
So that's why. Wait. Global, what are you talking about?
It's technically wordsmith. It's technically correct as far as I'm concerned. I understand what he's saying. Texas is just saying that the people that don't support him need it dumbed down to a 3rd grade level and written in crayon with a colored picture next to it to explain it.
Yeah, so you don't start twisting it and then it becomes okay. Like, if you have, let me ask you something. Not you. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the dumbed down people. Now here's a question for you. The joke what I said earlier that Trump made a statement. Oh, should I run a 3rd term? Maybe we'll do it. We'll see what they say. We'll see.
I know people believe that.
It was a joke. Yeah, no, but then the next morning you have major news outlets.
Right.
Like, major news outlets making headlines, Trump considering running again a 3rd term, breaking the Constitution. And then there is like 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds opening TikTok, and that's what's scrolling through them. This is how you put stuff in people's minds.
But that's why I'm also doing TikTok stuff, right? Because, like, I got to reach those people. And people that, like, shut out from that, you got to reach them too. But the problem is like the way they're controlling it. And so, like, I'm all about free speech, but the censorship on that platform in particular is so bad. So bad, you know? All right, buddy. I do. I have a big errand to run today. Like, I'm an old man. I have to go get my testosterone levels checked so that I continue to take injections because I've got no free testosterone in my body.
Get some butt pokes.
Thanks, War. Huh?
Get some butt pokes.
No, I mean, like, I've got healthy testosterone levels, but I started off with healthy testosterone levels and they were healthy when I went to the clinic. But my free testosterone was like in the tank. And so a couple things happened. One, I was on SSRIs for a very long period of time. When you take SSRIs, to the best of my knowledge, this is not medical advice, just things that I've read. When you take SSRIs, they generate more self-binding hemoglobin within your body, and that protein is what actually attaches to your testosterone and lowers your free T levels. Additionally, cortisol levels. When you have increased cortisol levels, they also increase that same protein. And so what happens when you're exposed to combat over a long period of time and then you get put on an antidepressant and the VA takes and they measure your freaking testosterone levels. They go, oh, you look perfectly okay. And you go spin it for free T, and they spin it for free T, and it's almost non-existent because all of your testosterone's chewed up.
Yep.
Combat vets, you're welcome. All right. Or cops,
Yeah,
law
I'm not
enforcement,
here to
firefighters.
myself, so.
Exactly.
All right, Matt. I appreciate the conversation this morning, and I'm going to go run a couple of kilometers, and I'll be back later.
Word, bro. Word. Everybody, I'm sorry. Texas just overtook the chat today. I'm not going to lie. I love you guys.
Yeah, I apologize.
His TDS
next time. Yeah, I was just fuming that people are starting to play with our Constitution, and I'm still American, so
it's not.
No
man,
matter how much I support, how much I support other countries, I still believe that the strongest document in the world, on the planet, is the Constitution of the United States because
100%.
it's what keeps us free.
Is this what it's like to live in a Jewish house where people are just yelling at each other all the time?
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. And I'm one of 13. So can you imagine when the whole family gets together by like a wedding or something?
Oh, bro. Yeah. People need to grow up. Like, seriously. Like, I have conversations like this with my friends, and that's when I have the most fun.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time we'll
want to rip my hair out,
well, it's been like probably a good like year since like there was a heated like to this level and like a fun heated. So I think the next one maybe we'll do in person.
Right.
All right.
All right, brother.
All right. Have a good one. All right, chat. Sorry for hijacking.
You're an asshole.
All right, BB. All right, come on, you too, rip it. You know what, BB? I'll stay in Discord after the stream is done, so you can rip it for a couple of hours.
All right, guys.
Oh god, that was fun.
Holy cow, man! Holy crap, that was awesome. Seriously, guys, debate with your friends, talk to them, debate with people you might not like, and it's okay. You can still be friends at the end of the day. It's not my fault. Texas has TDS. Like I'll work on it. Like we'll get him there. We'll teach him the proper English language. All right, everybody. God, I cussed too much during that. I got really upset at him. I need to take a moment. I can't do devotional today. I need to fix that. I need to go do some repentance.